Good morning, friends and family. I am Dr. Wilhelmina, and today I'm here with a friend. Can you introduce yourself,
Hey,
please?
everybody, it's your girl Felicia. I'm Coach Felicia, and I'm happy to be here. I'm a life coach, fitness professional, writer, best-selling author. Oh, gosh, yeah, and I'm
You-
here hanging out with Dr. Mina today.
yeah, you have a lot going on, boy. Do you have a lot going on? But we all learn from you. So today we're going to tell you about a story, and it's important for entrepreneurs to hear this story. If you're out there trying to do your thing, you're on social media, and there's so many people coming at you with, oh, this offer, that offer. Well, you need to hear this story of how we met and what we got involved in.
I
So
know. Oh,
let's start.
okay. Where do we start with this?
Um,
How about how we met?
so we're entrepreneurs and we're doing our thing. It's obviously I got my good skin home, and I was just doing. I am Dr. Wilhelmina, so I was out there doing my thing, and that was before I am Dr. Wilhelmina. I was even before the skincare. What was I doing then? I think I was doing Village of Voices at that time.
Oh, that's right.
But there was something we saw, and we picked up on it. We clicked on it, and we decided to get into this group thing.
But where did you see it? Where did you see it, Mina?
I think it was because the person was doing videos on Facebook and they were pretty raw
Okay.
and in your face and her this person's opinion, but I must have agreed with some of it to make me join want to because I was watching the videos and then eventually an offer came.
Okay. Okay.
So how did you see it?
Um, Actually, it was a friend of mine that I guess she came across a video or something like that. I'm gonna say on online like television stuff,
Yes.
and she said, "Oh my goodness, you need to really check her out." And this is a friend that I highly respected. I've known her for years, so of course I value her advice or information, right? And so I was like, yeah, I'll check her out. And I listened to it. And actually, I was like, it was a bit abrasive.
It was.
Um, but I
Definitely.
thought, don't
Right.
judge,
Right.
and just stay open and, see what happens. And then I went out and I bought the book and I started reading the book. I didn't complete the book because that was even a bit abrasive at times, but yeah, that's how I came across there. It was a recommendation from a friend, in short.
I think I read about 3 pages of that book. And it wasn't that it was boring, it just didn't get I'm like that with books anyway. You really got to grab me for me to keep going, and it wasn't that kind of thing. There was a lot of negativity and ranting kind of thing. So for me, that's not who I am. Sometimes I am, but for the most part I try to stay on the positive side of life. But so the offer came to join this business in order to increase our revenue, but there was a hitch to it. What was a hitch?
Oh, we were going to be gazillionaires.
That's better. That's a good way of
Right.
putting it.
We're going to
Yeah,
be billionaires.
we're gonna make so much money, and it was focused on a specific group of people.
Yeah, but was that what caught you? That's not, I don't think it was
Uh,
that. I think it was
no,
the people that were going to be in the group, the women. And
yes,
can we say black women? I think
yes.
we can.
Well, you
Because they're
just did.
black women.
So yeah,
It
yeah.
was specifically to black women.
To come
Yes.
together and do
Mhm.
something together, that was exciting. Plus, it was during the pandemic, so we were at home. Well, I wasn't working at the office. I was at home on the computer, and so I spent a lot of time on the computer, on social media. I wasn't out of the house. I was in the house, and I lived by myself. So I did have a friend and her daughter that was my bubble. And so if we wanted to go eat, we'd go on Fridays, we'd go out and get food and bring it back home and eat
Mhm.
at home. So that was my only outing. Everything else, I was in the house.
Oh,
So
wow.
it really was a place for me to connect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. That's
yeah.
true. And maybe that's how a
That's
part
how we.
of the captured audience. I think COVID was just starting to probably wrap up a little bit,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Um, Yeah, I think so because we were like in 21,
Yeah, yeah,
sometime in
mhm,
21, right?
yeah, mhm,
Um, yeah, and when I saw the Black women and what our country had just gone through,
mhm,
the year previous, all of the upheaval,
yeah. And people dying.
women together, we thought for change, and we know that we have um, something special to be able to offer from different
Yeah,
pathways with all of these women. And so I think
yeah,
that that was a part of us coming together, right?
yeah.
Where we were
Mhm.
willing to say, okay, come on, let's
Let's do it.
do this. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how we met is in that group, but
Mhm.
we stayed in contact, of course. Uh, so what was the offer that drug us in, that got us in there,
The
other
offer,
than
a gazillionaire.
being yeah. What did she say? Gazillion. What was other than the gazillion air?
I think, I think for me, it was one, it was, I know the power of being in the company of women in general, just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
right. But now I'm in the company of like all these beautiful Black women.
yeah,
And then it was, uh, so this is someone that's going to help us
yeah,
to bring our stories out
yes,
into life, right?
yeah.
And she had the gift of gab,
She did.
hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. Like it's not
Uh,
the first time, maybe.
no, I don't think it was. I think we did a little research and we found out that there was
Mhm.
something more. But like, how about you though? Why did you?
I think it was because was gonna strike out on my own, and I was trying to do things, and I knew I was gonna do it, and in that I didn't know what to do, how to do it, where to go, how to increase. And at that time, I don't think I even knew that you had to increase your followership, or at that time it was likes. I didn't know that was a part of it. I just thought people would see, oh, we like that. Let's see what they're doing, but I didn't know how to get there to build
Right,
it. So I thought I'd get some help with that, with building it, and then it would be a springboard for me on my own.
right,
That's what I thought would happen.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's how we met.
Yeah.
Um, and then I don't know what was it. How long was it before you think you began to see something different?
Oh, it was a feeling of I was being not being me, first of all, and I felt pressured to kind of be at her beck and call. So I've joined other groups of people getting together to do whatever, but there's never that. Well, now they're my boss, and I must do what they say, and if I don't, then I'm being called out because I'm not doing exactly what they. But I'm a customer, and I came to you for help. You're being a bully and pushing me around and others around. So I think that's what made me think, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's almost like there was a shift of power,
it
right?
was. Hmm.
After we bought into, or the individuals that were in that group, you bought into the promise.
Paid our money to
Yeah,
the
because
promise.
so that's after, that's when it happened, right? After
Yes.
you were paid, right?
Hmm.
And so there's the shift of power, and you feel like,
Yeah,
wow. I
yeah.
mean, for me, I was like, oh my goodness, what have I gotten myself into?
So our next podcast is going to be about the shift of power,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Sorry.
right?
Yeah,
So we can't
right.
get too deep into it.
I can help but go into that because it's like
It fits.
it really is right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If you
But
want to keep going, we could keep going, but that's our plan. That's our next
okay,
topic.
sorry.
Yeah, we have to wait on that. But really, this person was. was not like professionally polished or and drew us in that way, you know. She was just being herself.
Or so we
Okay,
thought.
we thought. Well, I think some of that was herself seeping out because she had a mask, and the
Yeah,
mask kept
right.
us from knowing who she really was. But once it came off, it was like, okay, we should have been saying, I see you. I see you now. But we didn't. We kept going along. And we're not just talking about you and me. You know, we're intelligent. We know better. But at the same time, we had all these other people that were in there that a little naive and, you know, maybe not as strong. And then we had some strong women that knew just like us it wasn't right, but we stayed
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
little.
And you wanted to see everybody win. We
Yeah.
really wanted to see everybody win because of
Mhm.
that promise that we went in there with, right?
Yes.
And I'm not
Yes.
saying that promises aren't broken. Of course, we know promises get broken all the time, right?
Yeah.
But I think it was really disappointing
Yeah.
because we were Black women.
Yeah.
We were Black, and you
And
have to
got
be a Black
taken
woman to
for it.
really, really get this, right? I mean, I know
Yeah.
that there are other women. I'm not knocking anybody, any other, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
sound offensive in any way, but it's like if you
Yeah.
can get Black women in a group together, I mean, like we did, or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they were able to do, it
Yeah.
was absolutely,
It was magical.
it really was.
It
The
was.
creativity that was happening. And yeah, it was really disappointing.
Yeah, and to be betrayed, taken advantage of by another black woman. Here you put this great group together, and we are all like, I mean, there were some things, but for the most part, we all did want everybody to win. And, you know, it was horrible to realize, hey, this ain't going. And first of all, from the beginning, the promise was not something that was really going to happen. There's no way if we were thinking, but we weren't there for that. But it couldn't happen. So yeah,
Yeah. And,
so we
and
were down
I
for
agree
the
with you on that
yeah,
last statement that you just made, because there were red flags. There were
yeah.
red flags before we paid our money.
Hello.
But we were like, no, we're gonna do this. We
Yeah.
we're we're gonna make something happen. We're
Yeah.
going to do something different. We really believed in it.
Mhm. But the
And
something would have been it would have been good had it not been fake. The something, if we would have followed through, if she would have followed through, if we all would have followed through, it would have been still great. It wouldn't have been the Trillion, Brazilian, whatever you said, air. We wouldn't have been that, but it would have been a great thing.
yeah.
Probably have people mimicking it and also creating other topics, but doing that.
Yeah, I think you could have changed some communities.
Yeah.
With the talent
Yeah.
that was in that group, for sure
Yeah.
there will be neighborhoods that are doing some things differently. I
Yeah.
totally believe that, right?
Yes.
Um,
We have talent.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
well, um, so yeah, that's a little bit about how we met.
Yes.
Um,
That's how I met.
and
And the promise.
yeah, and the promise, the red flags to look out for. I don't know. What would be some of your takeaways when you look at that? Maybe we can leave them with some takeaways.
I would say, first of all, if the promise isn't, can't happen. I mean, you know dang well some things that can't happen. And just because of their notoriety, I can't say the word for some reason, or that they're being seen and they're getting like so many followers, so many comments, that still doesn't mean that they can get you there. And there's a lot of people out there just after your money, even though I didn't pay that. Well, you know, in my mind, even when we were talking before, in my mind, I had a memory of paying a whole lot less than I did pay. But when I looked at the emails today and I saw what I did pay, it was too much to be losing. But so I'm even more irritated by it, but now I got to let it go. But the just because they say they're going to do this, it's not always that. Make sure you look into it. See if they've done it before and were not successful with it. I remember being in a direct sales company where they like to call themselves an MLM. And this person had done a lot of bad to other groups of people. And when we started the new company, when they started the new company, we knew because people were emailing us, texting us, sending us messages, letting us know, hey, this is what this person did with us. But we still went with it. I don't know what that is about us that we still went with it because I ended up being in there for a while and eventually left. But
Wow.
check the person out thoroughly.
Yeah.
Even check BBB and see if something's in there on their business. Just if someone says they're coming to help you, just to help you build, and they're giving you little bits and pieces here and there, that's okay.
Mhm.
But to tell you that, oh, we're going to do this big thing or whatever, and it's not able to happen, it's not really their motivation. Before you pay into something, make sure you know this person and what they're about
Yeah. Yeah.
as
I
best you can.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think also, and this is probably something that we will talk about, and
Yeah,
somewhere down the line is, I think we got swept up in their vision after a while,
yeah, it was
right?
nice.
Because it's like, yeah, we'll talk about that down the line. But it's like, I think
Yeah,
it's important for you to remember why you got in the group, right? And
yeah,
even with us, we're saying it wasn't about the money. It was like, hey, this is a thing.
no,
This is that thing that I want to do, and it
yeah,
looks like if I go here, I have a team, people to
hmm, yes,
stuff off of, that have
yeah,
experiences in different fields. That's like, oh yeah, no, try this, or because that's what it
yeah,
was, right? And then I
yeah,
think the other thing is with the investment, like you said,
yeah,
um, I do believe in investing. I do,
yeah,
and I think we both did. We both do, and that's why we were there. It's like it is important to invest in yourself,
yeah,
because there are times coaches, you know, they do great, but it's like talk to the coach, find out about the coach, um,
right.
and I think even when I was doing like personal training, when I'm doing like fitness stuff, I don't just take
Hmm.
anybody for fitness, right? And I don't because I mean, not without talking first, right? Because
Right.
I really want to know. I may not be the coach for you, right?
Yeah.
And you may not see that for me being able to coach you. So it's like I think
Mhm.
personality has a lot to do with it. So I think
Right.
that that's one of those things that is really important to look out for. And then the other thing, do we ask enough questions?
No.
Yeah, we were
No.
like, we're in. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do
Let's do
this. Let's do
this.
world
I can
changers.
do it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, ask the questions and ask
Yeah.
the questions and pay attention when you ask the questions
Yes.
to how they respond.
Yes.
But that too is later on. I
Yeah.
got some
That's
good stuff
that's
for you.
that's
Yes.
some interesting stuff. But I want to say too, I'm gonna be real ginger with it. There was something I did, and I spent a whole lot of money on it, and I trusted the expert. And the expert did what they said they would do. However, there was some modifications to what they were supposed to do, which they, being the expert, know the modification wasn't a good thing.
Oh.
It wasn't gonna, it was gonna hurt me more than it was gonna help me. So, um, in the end, I had to figure out a way, and I know you know what I'm talking about. I
Mhm.
had to figure out a way to fix the problem. And actually, I think you were the one that helped me fix the
Okay.
problem. You
Okay.
suggested it, and I fixed the problem that way. But the thing was, the expert knew that that problem was there at, like, I would say probably a month in.
Mm.
And so they offered what they thought might be a little fix, but it wasn't at all. So I ended up having to find another way. And then for months, I was kind of like, what can I do? And then you suggested something to me,
Mhm.
and it works. But the thing is, they wash their hands with it, and then I see them advertising themselves, and hopefully it was a lesson for that person, to never do that again. But
Have they come back to you for more?
yeah,
Isn't that well, that's something else too. Oh my gosh, I just we is there so much to share here, Mina, right?
I know
Because they had the audacity to come back after they goes, and it happens
yeah,
all the time.
it does. They
It
move on to
happens.
the next client, and let me just say this: that person is awesome in what they do,
Mhm.
but the
Some of them.
alteration, yes, this one right here was,
Okay.
but
Mhm.
the alteration that they made was significant, and they should have known that.
Mhm.
They should have known that. This is your field. This is what you do. You should
Yeah.
have known. So, but I fixed it. But before I fixed it, I just been out there, just hanging out there, like, what can I do? What can I do? And I just kind of gave up for a minute. But now I have a fix, and it works just fine. But even them not even being able to say, do this to fix it, like it took somebody that's not even in that business to say, hey, why don't you? And it worked. But so what I'm saying is, I probably would not do that. I probably would not go with that person again if I needed more of what I did.
Well, you won't if I know that's the way you go, and I'm gonna ask you why would you
But
do
they,
that? Absolutely.
and I trusted on other areas, which I can't talk about because if I talk about, then it will lead to that person. Although I never talk about that person, I
Mhm.
don't want it. I don't want them to get any heat or anything or any negative anything about it. But um, there was another thing that was crucial, and it was
Yeah.
a lot of money wasted on it. So whereas it didn't have to be that way, like
Yeah.
why would you encourage me? You're supposed to be leading me through this, and you put me
Yeah.
out there like that, and I'm like out of a bunch of money on it, on that. But
Yeah.
I'm not
And that's why
broke.
we're doing this, right? That's why we're
Okay.
doing this.
Yes, yes, I'm okay. Just because they're the expert, stop a second and think, hmm, don't answer right away. Say, will this work for me? Is this what I want? And then make sure you have every right, and they're going to give you every right. They're not going to try to force you into anything, but you have to agree to it. I agreed to it. So
Yeah.
um, on both cases, I agreed to it. So, and it wasn't what was best for me as a small time entrepreneur that has never done that before. It's the first for me. So, yeah, I would say you have to do your homework and think about it. Just don't just go for it because that's the expert telling you. You know they know what they're doing. So, yeah, that's what
Hmm.
I was. Be
Yeah.
careful.
No, I think that's great because I think it's and also, I mean, just to piggyback on the thinking part, if you are able to just kind of be still for a little bit, right? Because like Dr. Mina said, was don't essentially don't go because it's a pressure. It's like you got to get it right now. We only got one more spot left, and do you want
Yeah.
this? You want to change your life forever? It's like uh, you can think about that, and it's like, okay, well, if this one spot, if I don't get it, it means my life is going to be awful because I didn't get in there at this
Yeah.
cutoff. It's like that's not for you, right?
That's the
And then it's
hustle.
huh?
It's the hustle. The car
Yeah,
salesman is hustle. Yeah.
right. And it's like if you pay attention to how you're feeling too, because your body, my body was telling me, but I was like a feeling of almost desperation to be a
Yes.
part
But you
of
weren't
this.
desperate though. That's the thing. And you
I
still,
wasn't. I
yeah.
wasn't. But
Mhm.
it was like it was what we could do together,
Yeah.
right? And it was like jump in, just jump in and just take a chance, right? And I've jumped into a lot of stuff, right? And that's how for a lot of things I've grown and I've expanded, it's like,
Yes.
just try it, just close your eyes and just jump into the deep end of the pool.
Yes.
So yeah, pay attention to your body, pay attention to how even that other person's body language,
Yes.
so
I
yeah.
I have a hustler family member, and I love this person to death. So from them, I've learned like a car salesman cannot hustle me.
No.
I'm already ready. I know that's going to happen, so they can't rush me, hustle me in that way. But in this case, I wasn't remembering the hustle. I've had other people try to hustle me. I'm like, oh shit, oh that sounds like a
It's
hustle. But
okay.
no, I'm like,
You're forgiven.
but 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 in this case, in that situation I was talking about, there was a conversation that happened. If basically, if I don't answer right away, then I'm not respecting that person's time. I might be thinking about something. Don't That was a hustle. Uh the pressure and the going so fast and getting done what I needed done, like it was instant until we had to deal with other people and then they were slow. But it's part of the hustle. Like, so I should have recognized and I didn't in that case. But I do quite often get into situations where people are trying to rush me to make a decision on something. And then I do notice, oh, that's the hustle. I'm not, let me just sit back. And usually I don't go with it. I take my time usually. But on that situation, I was hustled several times, and I should have stopped, thought about it, and said, reality, is this going to work for you? And I know it wouldn't work for me. Like, it's not a surprise. I just was trusting the expert. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
be careful.
Well, on that note, I
That's
think
it.
this is kind of a wrap, right?
Yes,
Next week,
a wrap.
next time we step into what's the follow up to this? The shift in power.
Yes.
What
I got
happens after you bought
You're
what they
in.
sold you, and there's a shift in power?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because you're the customer usually,
Mhm.
and yet the power shifts. So we'll
Yeah.
talk more about it. We talked a little bit about it today, but we'll talk more later too.
Yeah. That was on me. Sorry.
No, I was just talking about that. That was a shift in power
Yeah, it
when I
was.
was, yeah, it was. It was, yeah, you have to still remain the customer and be
Yeah,
on
you
top.
do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was it for today. We'll be back with our next podcast with Coach Felicia, and Dr. Wilhelmina, and we'll go more into the story. You'll find out more information. So come back, share this with somebody so that they'll be prepared to come back for future podcasts and hear the rest of the story and learn. And like, share, whatever you got to do to get this out there. All right, people. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.